in the right door there, right where in the right side on that last deal, as he was down through the grass trying to avoid all of that accident. But he did catch a little piece of another car in the door, so that's made things kind of loud in there for him. But like I say, he's moving towards the front, so I'm sure he's enjoying that.
Last lap by, Kyle Busch was exactly 1/1000th of a second faster than Jeff Burton in second spot. So running about even, but there's about 8 or 9 car lengths between them.
It has started to balance out between these two cars. Kyle Busch jumped out there to a pretty big lead, running real fast lap times, faster than he qualified. But then you see now that the 29 car is able to start making ground back towards him.
15th, 16th, and 17th here on the screen. The 11 car, Scott Lagasse Jr. doing a pretty good job, making only his 3rd start for this team. Jason Leffler trying to get back around him. They had Lagasse had made the pass.
And Scott Lagasse qualified 13th, and he's sitting there running in the top 15. He's got a solid race going.
Marcus Ambrose behind them and had come back in and topped off his tank.
Lagasse get a little bit loose there and move up the track, and that's going to open the door for Marcus Ambrose. Cuts him off a little bit there as they get to the tri-oval.
Looks like they had a little contact between these two. See right here. Whoa. Oh, that did some damage.
Wow. Man.
Crinkled the fender on Scott Lagasse's right front. Got to be careful that doesn't cut a tire down.
Leffler able to make the pass. Lagasse holding on to the position. Moving in on 50 laps to go here. 60 car continuing his march back toward the front. He will take the 6th spot away from Mike Wallace.
And Casey Kane right behind them. Casey's moved his line down a little bit. He'd been running at the very top of the racetrack. Mike Wallace not wanting to give that spot up to Carl Edwards just yet. All able to make that pass. He lost those spots in the pits when he took on 4 tires just a little while ago, and a lot of other cars had 2 or either stayed out on the racetrack, so he's having to fight his way back. Jamie?
Guys, a 60 car, Carl Edwards. He has 1 car up ahead of him he's looking at, and that's the number 2 of Clint Bowyer. They're very cognizant of where Bowyer is at all times because it's them they're trying to beat in the championship points. He came in, as we've talked about, 196 points behind the 2 car. I talked to Drew Blickensderfer. He said, we've been, pretty careful lately. And now, with 5 races to go, we need to step it up. We need to be aggressive, and we need to win races. That's all that matters right now. So Carl Edwards on the charge looking for that 2 car.
Doesn't have much choice, Jamie. He's got to go after it, and he came in with the kind of deficit he had trying to make it. Got to pick up 40 couple points a race to be able to be even with him. And right now he's about where he started, 196 points back.
He's still behind Clint Bowyer on the racetrack. Clint's done a good job tonight too. Put that car up in the top 5.
You can see Bowyer right there, just ahead of Carl Edwards, about a half a straightaway. Clint had fought a loose race car for a lot of the night. Looks like they've made it a lot better.
There was a pretty tight battle for owners' point standings, and the 2 car. Now Richard Childress' car for Clint Bowyer has taken over the owners' points lead over the 20 car of Joe Gibbs. That 20 car, by the way, had 9 wins this year. Most of those coming with Tony Stewart. Here's the 18 car of Kyle Busch trying to work his way through some traffic.
Yeah, he just kind of passes him wherever he catches him. Inside outs, whatever lane they give him is where he can take that car.
Doesn't slow him down much either. I saw 18 car catching all this traffic, and I thought maybe this was an opportunity for Jeff Burton to make up a little ground, but last lap, Kyle Busch beat Jeff Burton by 10.
Kyle Busch has 19 victories this year in 69 starts. He has 8 in Cup, 8 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and 3 in the Truck Series, and 69 races. That's a busy driver.
Busy driver and getting it done, too, while he's busy. See Jeff Burton here in second. He's about just over a second and a half back of Kyle Busch right now. Been wondering here if Jeff thought it, knowing he couldn't run with Kyle Busch on fresh tires, if he saved a little bit here, knowing that maybe his car would be a little bit better on the longer run. Be interesting to see as we get a few more laps on the tires. But and Kyle Busch jumps up there so fast. See a battle for 13th here. David Reagan and Marcus Ambrose. Reagan had at one time worked his way up into the top 5. He elected to come in last time and get some tires on that car, and you can see he's battling the handling on that a little bit loose as Ambrose is going to try to take the spot away from him, and will.
Hey, Marcus Ambrose came into the series 2 years ago. Everyone said, well, he's an accomplished road racer from Australia, but he'll have a hard time getting a hold of these ovals, and he has done a tremendous job adapting himself to oval track racing here in NASCAR. Let's get you up to speed on what's happening with our lead car, starting with Kyle Busch and Shannon.
Well, it's been pretty uneventful for Kyle Busch. His car has been great all day. The team not saying much over the radio. Kyle Busch is making his way around the track. Of course, Jeff Burton behind him looking to hunt him down, but all good with that 18 car, smooth sailing ahead. Jamie.
And Jeff Burton, he last came in, what lap was that? About 96 he came in, and he had a vibration, and they fixed that, and he's been pretty quiet on the radio, but he did joke with his team. He said, guys, this race isn't going to be done until tomorrow. Well, we have 15 minutes until tomorrow, so he's a happy camper looking for a win, running second right now. Mike?
Jamie, early on in this race, Brad Keselowski was screaming about his race car. It was just way too loose. He said on a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 8. They've made adjustments throughout the night, and it's down to what he says is a 4. Oceans of difference. He says the car's real good right now, works real well on the bottom of the racetrack, as we can see right here as he tries to make a move. They're off the corner, Shannon. He's real happy and is moving his way to the front.
Well, Mike, about 15 laps ago, Mike Bliss, who's running right there in the 4th position, said that the car was getting loose. His crew chief came over the radio and said, just drive it out. It will get better. The car will come to. So that's what they're doing right now. Mike Bliss did struggle with this car during practice, was worried about the balance. But other than that, loose condition car's pretty good. Jamie?
And behind him, Clint Boyer. His team is just killing the competition with consistency. The last 6 races, they've been the top performing car with another top 5 run right now. Car's pretty good. All these drivers pretty much quiet, not complaining about their cars at this point. Behind him, Carl Edwards, the man who's trying to beat the 2 car, has creeped up on Clint Boyer. It's always an exciting battle, but I'm afraid if they stay like this, it's not going to be enough points to put a dent in that points lead by the 2 car at Clint Boyer. Behind them, Casey Kane has turned up the wick. He struggled early on tonight, but they made some adjustments, and we interviewed him under that rain delay, and he was thrilled with the car. He was having fun. He worked up a sweat and said it was hot in there, having fun. He was running up by the wall. So see if Casey Kane can get in the mix. You know he's won here, and this is his place here at Lowe's. Mike?
Kevin Harvick's been pretty quiet since we went back to green, but early in the race he was complaining that the car was tight. They made adjustments, freed it up, eventually got it to neutral. He got it to the point just before that last round of pit stops where he told Rick Wren, his crew chief, he said, hey, you don't need to reinvent this race car. We're pretty close to where we need to be, just minute changes as this race wears on. Just behind him, Mike Wallace. He had high hopes coming into this race. He's driving the car that he describes as the workhorse. It's been dinged up a little bit throughout the course of this event, but he was so happy with it that during one of the red flag occurrences, he went to his crew chief, Bruce Cook, and said, hey, you know that new car you were planning to build for Texas? Don't worry about it. Let's use this one. He's still pretty happy with this race car, Dave.
Mike, talk about a dinged up race car. This 47 car was the one that was destroyed at Darlington on lap 146 back in May of this year. The center section was all that survived it. They put it back together again, and Scott Zipadelli has got it pretty well set up, body-wise and chassis-wise for Kelly. Been running near the top 10 all night long. Mike?
You know, it wasn't too long ago when Brian Vickers had what he felt was the best race car he's had all night. In fact, his spotter came over the radio and told him, hey, look, you're killing them in the corners, really picking up speed there. Well, the car has gone away a little bit. It's a little bit tighter now than it's been all night long, and he is struggling, Dave.
And back to the guy who started in first position today. That is a 17 of Jamie McMurray. Loud muffler sounds coming through the door and all. Really, really tight race car, though. That's a handling condition that's developed over the course of this run. That's caused him to slow out basically where he is right now, Mike.
At the red flag break just before the halfway point, Marcus Ambrose told me that the car started off tight, but he felt like there were just a couple of adjustments away from being very good. Well, they've made those adjustments, but the car just has not gotten as good as he thought it would be. He's running okay, but certainly not living up to the expectations. He told me during that break, he said, this is probably the best run we've had on a mile-and-a-half all year long, but certainly he was expecting to be closer to the top 10 than he is right now, Dave.
David Reagan behind him. The last time they came down pit road and put fuel in the race car, it got him close to the end, although they'll need a few caution laps to get all the way on that fuel. The biggest problem was it made the car extremely loose. David said, before we put that fuel in, I was about a 2 out of 10 loose. I can handle that. Now it's a 5, and it is out of control, Shannon.
Dave, it has been a long race for Jason Leffler in that 38 car. Right now, the car is just so loose. They've made major chassis adjustments on the last 2 pit stops, 2 rounds of track bar, wedge adjustment. But right now, that 38 car, there are 4 fans down here in the pit box who are hoping that Jason Leffler just beats Brian Vickers on the track, because if Jason Leffler finishes ahead of Brian Vickers, those 4 fans will win a Toyota Tundra. So a lot of happy fans hoping that Jason Leffler makes some ground on the 32 car.
Shannon Scott Legacy is one of those guys who got the lucky dog recently and got back on the lead lap, trying to keep it there down to the end of this race. The car has just been difficult to turn from the center to the exit of the corner all night long, and that condition has persisted most of the night. Now, Dave Blaney says he's a little bit confused about his race car, and he said, so loose, I about lost it. That was about 10 laps ago that Blaney reported that over the radio. Good news is they got that car cooled down. It's running at temperature now for Blaney. Doc?
17th car on the lead lap, but there comes the 18 of Kyle Busch to try to put Blaney a lap down. And he will sail by with 35 laps to go. If you just joined our coverage, the reason we're running late here is because we had 2 red flags for a total of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 24 seconds. The first red flag, 11 minutes. Another one, 59 minutes, because of rain showers in the area. They moved away, and so is Kyle Busch in the 18 car.
Yeah.
Let's listen in.
They're not just stopping for fuel only.